Hey everyone, I'm Brittney, and welcome to Season 2 of the Reclusive Blogger Interviews. Hi everyone, it's Brittney, your host of the Reclusive Blogger Interviews, and welcome to episode 9. On today's episode, I chat with Avant Garde pop singer and songwriter Molly Moore. We go into her beginnings as a songwriter for other artists, and we talk about her life adjusting to the new normal, particularly as an independent solo artist. And of course, we get into her lush new pop EP, Escapism, which features many gems, including the fun, disco-tinted bop Marco Polo and her latest single, Shy.
I'm, super excited that the songs are coming out and really happy that people are listening and enjoying them. And, just feel very grateful to have people appreciating the music. So,
Can you tell me more about the your initial recording process and creative process for the new EP?
Yeah, I got together with my friend Mike Gonick, right kind of in the first few months of the pandemic. And he was one of the only people that, I got together with in person to work with. And that in itself was interesting because I was so used to working with people in person and, to be kind of to not be able to have that experience and then to be able to go to a studio with an actual human being and express myself was so special for me. And we made Vacation first, which is the song that will be coming out on February 11th when the EP drops. And then we made Shy, and those two songs really were the start of Escapism and really inspired the whole project. I realized that I was creating something special to me that was kind of like a concept album in the sense that it was very much so about a specific experience I was having. And that's how I got started.
Because that was the next question I was going to ask. Because when I was listening to some of the songs, it did kind of feel almost like a concept album and everything, particularly with the visuals. And how did you come up with the visuals, and what was it like working with different people to come up with those visuals?
It was super inspiring. I feel so lucky to be able to work with such talented other creators, and to collaborate is such a huge part of my creative process. And when I was putting together the body of work, I knew I wanted this theme of surrealism, and especially with sky backgrounds. That was sort of the vision in my head. And so, I feel, looking back, I'm like, oh, I accomplished that. It's such little, baby steps every day to kind of get to where you are. And, it's been over the course of a year and a half that I've been working on this body of work and making the visuals for it. And, I'm independent, so I was kind of limited in my budgets. And so I was like, let me grab some behind the scenes visuals for each photo shoot so that I have visualizers that I can create from the artwork that are consistent and still, give people a little more insight into who I actually am versus a still image. And I'm very excited about how it all came together, and very excited to share the EP artwork and the visualizer for Vacation. And I also have a lyric video for Marco Polo coming out as well. So,
Marco Polo, I think, has been one of my favorites. It's very, very catchy. It kind of has it's got a lot of pop radio vibe to it, but still has a little bit of that kind of quirky indie sound. My next question would be, how do you think, I guess, being kind of in and out with the whole situation with COVID and lockdown has affected your creativity?
It's interesting because I was doing so many sessions before COVID. I was really staying as busy as possible. And it was a bit of a trauma response because I was going through so much in my life and I really didn't want to deal with it in like the normal, healthy human ways. I just wanted to make music and see shows and hang out with people and not really sit with myself. And so when COVID hit, it was really an opportunity for me to stop running a little bit. But so like on a personal level, it was incredibly important, I think, for me and for my growth as a human. But creatively, like I definitely think that I was hitting a stride at that moment that COVID hit, and it was good for me to be able to finish music and develop like, the release plan, because I am independent and I have to wear a lot of hats in order to get music out there. But I do wonder where I'd be creatively if I hadn't, if the pandemic hadn't happened, because I think I was growing at a level I'd never really hit before, like just like seeing growth from each session to session. And I'd like to think that, I still hit like, like certain levels of growth that I would have, but there's just no way of knowing.
Mm-hmm. I understand that, because even though I'm not a singer or a musician, I do podcasting and writing for my blog. And I think when you're creative and you're not kind of repped by anybody, I'm also a photographer. You do have to wear so many hats, and it's kind of like, well, prior to COVID, I was kind of consistently doing a lot more, and I just kind of sit there and go like, well, kind of.
Yeah.
You just kind of wonder where would I have been if this hadn't happened. But it's been really, really, when you think about it, it's been 2 years, and it's been so much kind of really, really bad death and destruction. It's just been a lot. It's a lot of anxiety and a lot of stuff going on.
Absolutely.
So I read that you have written songs for a lot of people, and being a songwriter for other people, how do you think that helps or maybe hampers your work as a solo artist?
I think for me, I approach it pretty differently. It's a completely different muscle when I am working on a song for somebody else. And I get to explore other sides of music that I wouldn't otherwise get to explore. And I think that's really special. I also feel honored to be let into somebody else's like world and creative process and be able to try to amplify that as much as possible. So I really feel like it's just an amazing addition to being able to also create songs for myself. And I definitely don't think it takes away from anything that I do as an artist. I think if anything, it just adds to like the world of inspiration and the experiences that you're having, and being able to connect with other artists is honestly one of my favorite things, like about being in a community of creative people.
Is there a particular artist that you've written for that kind of stands out in your mind?
Definitely. My best friend, Maddie Noyes, who I live with, we've made some of my favorite music that I've ever created, like as an artist or as a songwriter. And she's just so incredibly talented and inspires me so much. And I would definitely say that the music we've created together like holds a extremely, important place in my heart, and I'm very excited for the world to hear more of it, because I co-wrote a few songs on her album, and that was how we initially met and got closer. But we've continued writing together, and there's a lot of music to come, so I'm excited about it.
I've heard some songs from hers, and I can kind of see you guys really vibing together. You guys kind of have that same energy.
Yeah, she's the best.
I guess my next question would be, what were some of the artists that kind of influenced you growing up?
I was really influenced by like such a wide range of music. My dad was like a huge Beatles fan. I got into like Simon and Garfunkel around like 13, 14. I loved Britney Spears when I was like a kid. I loved Pink and a lot of like pop music. And then I also got into like more alternative music from my sister's inspirations. So like Third Eye Blind and even like Death Cab for Cutie and eventually Coldplay and John Mayer. So there's such a wide range for me. There's so many artists that have inspired me. Ingrid Michaelson was a huge inspiration. The first time I saw her live, she really blew me away and just opened my brain up to what it means to be an artist and how just connecting that experience can be, expressing yourself on stage and playing music. So there's way too many artists to name in one sentence, but those are some of the ones that have had a really big impact on me.
What was the first album you bought with your own money? Because you mentioned a lot of artists from that kind of millennial and Gen Z childhood. What was the first album you purchased with your own money?
With my own money, because my parents bought me a lot of albums when I was younger. I'm trying to remember what the first thing I bought with my own money was. I want to say it was like Good Charlotte, but
oh yeah, I loved Good Charlotte.
Like Lifestyles of the Rich and the Famous. Like I think it might have been that album. I honestly think it might have been that because I was babysitting around that time. Like I probably had my own money. I think I might have like dug into my own pockets for that one.
What is the piece of pop culture that I guess you've recently been super obsessed with?
Sorry, can you say that again?
What is a piece of or piece of pop culture that you have been recently kind of obsessed with that you really like?
Ooh, a piece of pop culture that I've recently been obsessed with. I don't know if this counts, but no, this is a bad answer. Hold on, let me think about that for one more second. Everybody's on the Euphoria wave right now. I just watched the third episode of the second season, and now I have to go back and watch 1 and 2. But I thought I was like, and I watched the first season. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't watch the special. And I thought like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like get into this the way everyone's talking about it. And I was with some friends that watched the third episode, and I was like, oh my God, it's so good. It's like the greatest show ever. So I definitely think Euphoria is a incredible show, and I'm super stoked that Dominic Fike is on it. I love his music, and
yeah.
So
his character is very kind of, he's interesting, but it feels like he might be hiding something. Like there's room for an intriguing background with his character.
Absolutely. I got to meet him at Bottle Rock when I played my first festival in September, and we didn't talk for very long, but he was super nice. And, his whole persona is very, very interesting to me. So, and he was incredible. I saw him live as well, and his music's amazing.
I guess I'm not sure where we are in the time, but what fictional character do you think would most identify with your sound?
Ooh, Fictional character that would most identify with my sound. I actually feel like Jules from Euphoria might be the one. I feel like
that's a great answer.
I feel like I could see her vibing with the music.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Yeah. I guess to kind of close off, what can we expect next from you?
So, I am very excited to get back to playing live shows in LA and hopefully in New York as well soon, and hopefully go on my first tour. And I also have a lot of new music. I'm exploring different genres, so I'm very excited about that. And I'd say, the next body of work is probably going to be a bit unexpected given the sound of the one that I'm, releasing now with Escapism. But I'm really excited to kind of get back to my roots with music and just continue seeing what feels good and trying new things.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you for taking the time out and talking to me today.
Thank you so much, Brittney. I really appreciate it. I loved your questions. This was super fun.
Oh, thank you. It was fun too. I liked your answers a lot.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you in the next episode.